Have you ever prayed but never got an answer, and wondered if God was really there? Did you feel all hope was gone, but in His time He came along and answered the prayer you thought was gone? There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. I have read, if you will ask, you shall receive. No matter what it is, I still believe. There is no prayer too small, and even when we fall, He gives us just exactly what we need. There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. He always knows what's right. God hears them all. There is no prayer too small. My God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. No prayer too small. God hears them all.
Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I want to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of that coffin. You try lifting the lid, but the enormous weight upon the lid prevents you from opening it. You try to bang on the lid to unsettle the dirt. Maybe somebody will start digging their way down to helping you. This is what it's like to feel the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help. You know you can't do it on your own, but you don't know where to turn. In reality, there are people standing by your grave. You just don't know that. You just think you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that maybe, just maybe, you might overdose and take something away that God had given you called life? And if you don't care about your life, and if it's not, and more selfishly, you take away the life that other people count and love most. People like your mother, your father, your brother, sister, husband, wife, children, and even your grandchildren. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person that I just spoke about that waited and waited until it was way too late to get help. Instead, pick up the phone and call me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise you, I will help you take your life back before your life is gone. Tonight, when you take your slippers off, put them under your bed, not at the edge of your bed, but way under your bed. That way in the morning when you wake up, you'll be forced to get on your knees to go and retrieve those slippers. Look, they're way under there. See them right there. While you're on your knees, utilize that time to speak to God. From your lips to God's ears, each and every morning, you should be thanking God for having a home, food, health, relationships. You should be asking God for guidance and direction for the upcoming hours, days, months, and years. You should be asking God for mercy and forgiveness. Utilize that time while you're retrieving your slippers in the morning to speak to God each and every day, and you can see your results overwhelmingly enter your life. Knee-mail, K-N-E-E mail, your relationship, your personal chat line between you and God. Knee-mail. Is your glass half empty, half full, or just getting heavy? Glass half full, you might ask? I don't know who originally told this story, but I have heard it a few times and wanted to share it with you, my audience. A Harvard professor of psychology walked around a room full of students while teaching about stress management. To begin his lecture, he grabbed a glass of water and raised it above his head as if he was going to propose a toast to his class, and instantly everyone expected that he'd be asked if the glass was either half empty or half full as part of the lesson today. Instead, though, with a smile on his face, the professor asked, "How heavy is this glass of water?" He asked his audience, or his students, "How heavy is this glass of water?" Students called out answers, 6 ounces, 10 ounces, but he shrugged them all off. He replied, "The actual weight doesn't matter. What really matters is how long I've been holding this glass over my head. If I hold it just for a few minutes, it feels very light. If I hold it for an hour, I'll have an ache in my arm. If I hold it for a whole day, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. Any longer than that, and I will be very tempted to give up and drop this glass. In each case, the weight of the glass doesn't change, but the longer I hold it, the heavier it becomes." The students were all blown away by the simplicity yet truth of this lesson. However, the professor continued, "The stresses and worries in life are like this glass of water. Carry them for only a short while and they are manageable. Worry about them a bit longer and they begin to hurt. And if we think about them all day or longer, we can begin to feel paralyzed and hopeless, incapable of concentrating or focusing on anything else." The professor reminded his students, it's important to remember to let go of your stresses whenever possible. As early in the evening as you can, put all your burdens down. Don't carry them through the evening and into the night. This can certainly be easier said than done in some cases, but in many cases it's actually quite easy if we're mindful of it. The purpose of that lesson was, it doesn't matter if that glass was half full or half empty. It doesn't matter if it only had 4 ounces or 10 ounces. What mattered most is the fact that he was holding on to that glass for 5 minutes. Could have been an hour, could have been 6 hours. And the longer he held that glass over his head, with any amount of liquid in it, the heavier the glass became. The same applies to us with our stresses within us. The longer we hold on to anger, we hold on to financial crisis within us, the heavier the burden becomes. And the longer and heavier the burden is, the longer it eats away at our insides. Whatever you face in life, whether it's financial, relationship, let go early in the day of whatever the situation is. If somebody has hurt you, learn to forgive yourself more than forgive them, because by forgiving them, you forgive yourself. You let go of that anger. You let go. You released all that. Forgive them for yourself. I always talk about when I do these videos, it's rehab, and I gain more than you probably. This is how I let go of all the things that are within me. And that's what you need to do. And one way, the best way, to let go of everything each and every day is by speaking to God personally each and every morning. Remember what I talked about in email when I drop to my knees and I speak to God. Those are the minutes that I have a personal conversation with God. From these lips to God's ears each and every day, I ask God for guidance and direction, for I cannot guide and direct myself. I ask God for mercy and forgiveness for everything that I might have done that wasn't right. I thank God for each and every relationship in my life, for each and every piece of clothing and every piece of food that I have, for the home that I live in, and for my health. Have this personal relationship each and every morning and lift your burdens. Don't let that glass over your head become so heavy that your arms become numb. And the same applies as don't keep any anger in here or in here so heavy that you get stressed out. Stress will kill. Through the power of God and the power of prayer, you can go through each and every day to be a better day for the next day. But you have to have the right formula, and that formula is you and God and a personal relationship. I hope to God that you reach out to your higher power, not wait until it's too late. Do it now. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. And may God bless you.
but never got an answer, and wondered if God was really there. Might you feel all hope was gone, but in His time He came along and answered the prayer you thought was gone. There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. I have read if you will ask, you shall receive. No matter what it is, I still believe. There is no prayer too small, and even when we fall, He gives us just exactly what we need. There is no prayer too small, for God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember, there is no prayer too small. No prayer too small. He always knows what's right. God hears them all. There is no prayer too small. My God hears them all. The answer may not be just what you want, but He always knows what's right, even when we think it's wrong. Just remember,